broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Diamonds are forever.
Oh my God, this song is so perfect. Let's just listen to it. It's so good, so good.
I love this.
Hi guys, we've been waiting to use that song forever. It's perfectly fitting for tonight's episode. It is called Diamonds Are Forever, Season 1, Episode 13 of Forever. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV After Show. I am your host, Kate Aquillano, joined by my lovely co-host,
Pegah. Hi, everyone.
And we have a very special guest calling into the show. The writer of tonight's episode, Janet Lin, is here talking to us. Hi, Janet.
Hello, ladies.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Well, we always like to kind of pick the brain of the writer because you guys are kind of the heart of the you guys are the heart of the show. So we're just going to dig right into it. I want to know how you got involved with the show in the first place.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you read a billion pilots during pilot season, during the pickup season, which is in May. It's called staffing season, and you choose the ones you like, and you talk to your agents, and you try to get meetings on those shows. And I just happened to get a meeting on this show, and I loved it. And it was, I went in to meet with Matt. Happened very quickly. They offered me the job in the evening, and then we were in the room like a week later.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice. Had you ever worked with Matt before?
I actually haven't. I met him for the first time on this show.
He actually was in studio, and we talked to him for a whole episode, and he was amazing. So I'm sure it's awesome working with him.
Such a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Now, every episode is so intricate, every detail. Walk us through the writing process. How do you guys write an episode?
It's funny. You call it the writing process, but it really is sort of like it's a talking process. Like we all get together in this. Yeah, it's like much more about we just sit around in a big room with lots and lots of snacks and lots of time.
Sounds like a great time.
I guess the drinking is it's actually ideal, but then you get really fat. But we call it writer's weight. Like you just put it on during the season because you're just sitting there eating
the
and talking.
freshman 15.
Yeah.
But we basically we talk through the whole episode beat by beat, like as a group. We talk through each scene, each character beat, each thought, like every bit of science, and we basically talk through the whole thing. And only then do we send it off with one writer to write an outline, and then eventually write a script. So it's actually a really collaborative, really fun thing. And Matt Miller calls it jazzing on an episode. Like we just sit around and
I love it.
I do like
throw
that.
out ideas.
How long does that take from start to finish?
Oh my goodness. It depends how much time you have. Later in the season, you start to lose, you run out of time and everything gets crunched. But early on, I would say we would take maybe 2 weeks in the room to talk about something from start to finish, from just the inception of an idea all the way to, taking it, what we call taking it off the board, actually erasing the board and having all the beats that we need. And then, you take a couple weeks to write an outline, maybe a week or two to write a script. The script actually is the least of it. Everything else, the legwork is done at that point.
Yeah, you've already come up with kind of the major points and how, I always find it interesting how the murderer, the killer, you see them on screen for a second here. It's wait, who is that guy? I feel like he should be more important in this story, and he's going to come up later.
Oh, can I ask you guys, did you guys see Hank Dunn as the killer? Did you see him coming, or were you blindsided?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little explanation, because I watch a lot of these like procedural cop shows. Like it's like my thing. I love these shows. And so I've become very good at picking out the killer, and I knew it was
like a bloodhound.
I knew it was done probably like halfway through.
Yeah, she called it.
Well, he was just a little sketchy. I was a little, every time like Henry would, be like, no, it's this guy. He'd be like, like kind of like, darn it. They were like figuring it out onto me. So I was like, I turned to Pegah and I was like, he is dirty. He is a dirty cop. I don't know how he's a dirty cop, but I don't like him.
Yeah, I had no idea. So on my end, I didn't pick up on it at all. So.
Yeah, I have a pretty good record though.
Yeah, you do. You've been right almost every time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's usually, I'm telling you, it's usually, Dunn was a little more involved, but it's usually like the guy that's kind of insignificant until like till about minute marker 45, and then you're like, boom.
Boom.
I actually wrote on Bones for 5 years, so like I know this. Like, I feel like I could see it too, and I was a little worried about that. We're trying to hide him by making him sort of giving him a little like flirtation with Joe. We were like, oh, maybe people will think that he's going to be a love interest, and that we're introducing a love interest, so they'll like take their eyes off the truth.
Well, see, Pegah here wants Joe and Henry to get together, and she even when I think see,
right?
She's like, they're having a moment. But
I was hiding in the room.
When they were in the in the jewelry store, Henry goes, I think he likes you, basically by like he touched his hair and he touched your arm. Was Henry a little jealous?
Yeah, I was asking if he was jealous.
You know what? It's funny because I would, we're trying to figure out a good balance, and Matt doesn't want him to play jealous. I think he really, really wants to keep it like they are very, very good as friends, and they aren't jealous of one another. And that's eventually, I think, what's going to bring them together. That they can care about each other in that way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
that makes her happy.
But I shouldn't even say anything. I'm like, I was getting on to like talking to other people outside of the room. Like I always get really nervous. I'm like, oh, what am I allowed to say?
What am I about to reveal? We won't tell anyone, and our viewers just don't tell them. Just keep this between us.
Our little secret.
What I did like about tonight's episode is there was much more Detective Hanson. Before we went live, we were all saying how much we love that character, how much we love Donnie. I know you don't write every episode, but you obviously contribute to all the episodes. Will we see more Hanson in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay,
he's like a favorite in the room, and Matt really loves him. Everyone loves Donnie as a person.
Right.
And that definitely helps them. We really want to give him good stuff. And it's funny because there's certain characters that Matt Miller and certain writers sort of take on different characters, like they speak in their voice really well. Like we one of our writers, Chris Fedak, is always pitching Lucas jokes. Like he can't stop. And Matt, like when he talks Abe, and he also loves Hanson. He just like Hanson.
And I do love Lucas too. That little scene in the street.
Whoever has those little one-liners of Lucas, whoever writes those, bravo. I mean,
it gets us every time.
Stomach hurts from laughing. I mean, he's so great.
We definitely need more.
I'll give him some props tomorrow. He actually comes in to rewrite all of us, I think, to do those little Hanson jokes. He lives for Hanson jokes. If he could, he would write monologues, complete monologues every episode.
I don't know if you know, but we've been campaigning ever since we interviewed Donnie. We've been campaigning to get him to sing on the show because apparently he was in a band. And so we created a hashtag, get Donnie to sing.
Yes, we need to make that.
We campaigned to Matt Miller. He said he'd look into it.
He was actually really for it.
If you bring that up in the writer's room, we wouldn't hate you for it.
Like a karaoke
We literally were talking about that today.
No way.
You should say that. We were talking about that today.
Yes.
And I can't spoil anything because I don't know what's going to happen. Like we're so early on in the process in some of these stories, but I'll definitely, we know, we really want to hear it too.
Okay,
so.
good.
How fun
we
would that
need
be
to
if
get
that
Donnie
actually
to sing.
happened? It's like we kind of had something to do with that.
I love it. I love it so
Love
much.
it.
We have a question from the chat roll for you
Ooh.
because we're live on YouTube. Sansei77 says, can you give us insight on the emotional and psychological things that motivate Henry's nemesis besides him being immortal?
Ooh, Adam. Deep.
Oh my God.
It's deep.
That's, you know what, I feel like I cannot, all I can say is watch next week's episode.
Okay.
Because it's going to reveal there's going to be a huge reveal about his motivation.
Okay.
That's all I can say. But yeah, we have thought about it. I feel like if Matt Miller is listening to this, I'm going to lose my job tomorrow.
Okay, that's a good little tease. Watch it. We did see in the promo for next week's episode, he I can't talk. Asks to see Abe, and I'm like, what is Adam up to?
Do not go near Abe.
That has a huge reveal. Yeah.
I'm so protective of Abe. I don't want anybody to go near him.
Nothing should happen to Abe ever.
Yeah.
Only good things.
It's not what you think. The reveal is not what you think. It's super interesting. So I think
I'm
just
intrigued.
Cue it up that way.
All right. Well, I know you can't reveal too much, but is there any other teases you can give us?
Besides two awesome roles being played by
Kate Aquillano and Pegah.
what else can you tease? No, I'm just kidding.
We're like, what roles can Janet write for us?
Henry's love interest.
I mean, we would gladly volunteer for that.
Lucas's love interest. We kid. We're not kidding, but we kid.
Let me see if I can. I'm just going to say it, and if I have a job tomorrow, I'll be lucky. But I'll say the one thing I feel like I can reveal is that our dominatrix will come back.
Hillary Burton. She called into the show. She was awesome. I thought her and Ioan really had great chemistry on screen. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, we saw it too. So, yes.
Love that. I know that when we talked to her, tons of Hillary Burton fans were tweeting us all over Twitter. So I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that.
I'm so excited.
Well, I know that you're from the West Coast. Do you ever make it out to the set in New York?
Yes, actually, I went for my first episode. This second one actually had a family emergency, so I couldn't go back. But almost every episode has a writer there. I happen to have an excellent director, John Kretschmer, who's also our producing director. So Matt was like, I think he can take care of things on set. He can handle stuff. Especially when there are every episode has a writer out there sort of overseeing the episode, being on set, because a lot of stuff is there are a lot of questions on set, and it's also, kind of fun for us to just connect with the other side, to see the actors, see their real personalities, and see if we can kind of work some of their skills and personalities kind of into the characters, stuff like that.
Does anything ever get rewritten on the spot on set, like something that just doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another reason we're there. I would say less than like a comedy in front of a comedy in front of a 4-camera comedy. It's not like that. It's not like a multicam comedy where there are 5 writers on set and they're just pitching jokes. But a lot of stuff gets changed the day before, the day of, even during, to make production easier, or to make sense of things, or to make sense of a new space. There are a lot of
very
little changes.
interesting.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, Janet, thanks so much for joining us. When you, I know you contribute to all, but when you write another episode, we'd love to talk to you, because this is awesome to kind of hear that side of the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I will make sure that the room knows that you want to hear Donnie sing. I would love to hear Donnie sing too.
That would be get awesome. Donnie to
we
sing.
have so many fans that are behind that. It's incredible.
Yes. So definitely let the writers' room know that we are on board.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, and you guys have a great night.
You too. Bye, Janet. Oh my God. If that happens,
it started here. At AfterBuzz.
We talked to Donnie. Was it the first? No, it was maybe the third episode.
Third episode in.
We talked to Donnie, found out he was a lead singer of a band back in the day.
And then we started
threw
this
it out there.
We just loosely threw the hashtag out there.
We just tossed it out.
And like it's in the
gonna
writer's
happen.
room. Oh my gosh, I'm stoked.
I'm so happy.
I'm stoked.
All right, we'll keep
Can I
keep
put
you
that on my
updated.
IMDb? Just kidding.
Be like, I
Co-writer
wrote Donnie singing on Forever. That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
But let's get into tonight's episode, which you
Yes.
just heard from the writer. Again, it was called Diamonds Are Forever because it
was about diamonds.
There's a robbery at a diamond store.
Yeah.
He sells a lot of diamonds.
He does, a whole bag.
A lot. And then he like weirdly hits the camera after, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, which I was like, why would he do it
when
after?
I first saw this scene, I was like, what are you doing? You're like showing off and then destroying the camera?
Yeah.
So then it goes to, you gotta like bring Abe into the episode, of course. So it goes to the antique store
And his Tang horse is
his
missing.
horse is missing. And then Henry's like, dude, that was a fake.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I know it was here. And he's like, the dust is this way, so it was grabbed this way by a man this tall.
4.5 feet tall, which could be anybody.
God, I love Abe. He can complain about anything, and I would still love
I
him.
just love how like distraught he got over that. Like he was really upset.
He's really like, he's attached to that horse.
and he wouldn't let it go.
Gosh. And then it flashes to a guy running and knocking on a door.
A door, which
But then we realize it's Martinez's door.
right.
And then he's not there. You know that he's gonna
Trouble's happening.
he's gonna be the one that's not living in the next
Yeah.
scene. And we go, next scene is the crime scene, and she's like having her cup of coffee from, her local coffee shop because
walk there.
she can walk there. The murder scene is right down the street from her house.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know it's connected to her yet because when she opened the door, he wasn't there.
Right.
Well, she will eventually. Because when they give the body back to the morgue, there's paint chips in his knuckle.
Right.
And we were both like, red door.
Red door, duh.
They'll get
Which
to
it
it
took
eventually.
them forever to
I know.
to
No
figure
pun
out
intended.
that it wasn't from a car, it wasn't from the berries, it wasn't from a fire hydrant, it was the door.
The door.
We'll get there.
And then Morgan also discovers that this guy has tons of injuries, like tons of broken bones. He actually had a gunshot.
Something was like torn.
Something because, like, when cops put his hands behind his back, something tore in his shoulders. Lots of injuries. He's had a rough life.
Right.
And then they get the fingerprints back, and it's Aaron Brown. He's 28, and Hanson confirms he's had a rough life.
Yep.
He was in trouble with the law before.
He was on parole when he died.
Yes. And they open his file, and who's the DA attorney?
Sean Moore, Joe's late husband.
Yeah. And you can just see it in her face.
I can't
that
imagine.
This was going to be a hard case for her to do because it had, it brings up all these feelings. And throughout the episode, you realize she really hasn't dealt with his death.
She really hasn't. I mean, at least we didn't see whatever she did,
Yeah.
in her personal time. But yeah, I don't think she's ever dealt with it. And to go back and like watch those tapes of him and sit there and
Yeah. Because like she escapes that going to work. Mm-hmm. And this is work with, she's at work and it's coming back to her. She can't get away from it. So it's going to be a rough case for her. And Hanson is so cute.
He's
the way
so
he's
cute in this episode.
comforting her, like, I'll help out she's like with paperwork.
Yeah.
Because he can see that it's really tearing her
affecting
apart.
her.
He's so cute.
He really is. In this episode, he really took like that brotherly, fatherly even, like taking
big
care of it.
brother, like, take care of yourself kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we head to the morgue, back to the morgue where Morgan and Joe are interviewing Aaron's wife,
Right.
the victim's wife. And she basically tells them he turned his life around. He was taking their son or daughter, I'm not sure, their kid to the zoo the next day. Mm-hmm. He wasn't this criminal that he was on paper.
Right. He was trying to turn his life around.
Yeah, and Morgan kind of believed her, and Joe was like, I've been in this business way too long. Criminals are criminals. And I think what she finds out later, what Sean did for him, that it'll affect her in future cases. Like, you kind of have to see the best in people.
Yep.
But,
and that leads us back to a flashback later on, right? With Henry.
Well, actually, the next scene is a flashback when he's in jail. And like we said, we didn't quite get the connection with the flashback.
I guess it was just starting what we were going to see later on. So this, was it the priest?
So he's like transferred from the asylum. I think it's basically following that storyline of one of, he comes back from like this curse happening on the ship, tells his wife that he can't die. She thinks he's crazy.
Yeah, goes to the asylum.
She puts him in an asylum. Then he's transferred to a jail, and then at first you think it's a priest visiting him, but then it's his cellmate.
Right, because you see the shackles on his feet.
So you're like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So that's just like the start of what we're going to see in the flashbacks. Then we go and have this is like the important scene where it turned for me, where I was like, I know who it is. Because they go to the jewelry store.
And he reenacts.
And killers can be the ones that are on the screen for just a little bit, like I said. So there was a slight, like, Mr. Fleischman was the jewelry
Phil
store.
Fleischman.
Jewelry store owner. And I was like, okay, he's like an insignificant role right now, but it could turn maybe him. But then we meet Detective Dunn. And Joe knows him from the academy. He just rubbed me the wrong way.
Like, where has he been this whole time?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, is he in the department?
He's in a different department.
Okay.
He's in robbery. They're in homicide.
Right.
Or, like, major crimes, and they're in homicide.
There's been other robberies, haven't there? Like,
I mean, there's more than one major crimes detective,
true.
but I get your point.
You know what I mean? Like, he just shows up.
Exactly. That's why I was like, he's not.
Yeah.
Well, because then, like I said when we were talking to Janet, like Henry kind of disproves what he's proven, and he's kind of like bummed about it. He's like, darn it. Like they're opening up my case again.
Yeah.
Like he wants it closed.
I looked at it more along the lines of Henry was not getting jealous, but he does mention, their arms touched or whatever. So I thought Dunn was really there just to kind of stir things up in that avenue. I never thought that he was a person of interest. So you picked up on that. I picked up on the love
on the
aspect of it. Surprise.
I mean, you would. Right. So basically, Morgan proves that Aaron did not rob the bank because of like left hand, right hand stuff.
He was pretending to be a lefty. Yeah. I'm a lefty. I could have done it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, aren't you special?
I am.
Then they go back to the morgue, and Lucas, what are they smelling? The mask?
Was it the bag of diamonds? Oh, no, you're right. It was the mask.
It was
because it was perspiration.
I don't know where they found it.
I don't know either.
I missed that. Let us know. I'm sorry. But they found the mask.
It smells like pancakes.
And it smells like pancakes, which is just gross.
Right. But we learned to find that it's somebody who has diabetes. Their perspiration smells.
And while they're smelling masks, Martinez and Hanson are going through the DA files. They find a tape. They play it. And it's actually her husband interviewing Aaron. It's very emotional.
It is very emotional. And I was hoping that it wouldn't show Sean that much so that it would get to Martinez. But at the end.
And when he turns, and it's even more emotional because he's talking, he grabs a phone call from her and is talking to her. Ugh. It's a lot. And she even has to leave the room.
Yeah. But then,
Morgan comforts her and she knows he's always there for her.
Oh my gosh.
But I couldn't imagine too much.
It is. So,
yeah.
Henry goes and follows.
Well,
what?
I don't know. What are you saying?
It's like she's getting like the gum out of the vending machine, and then he brings up the bag of diamonds. Mm-hmm. And then how'd they link it to Diego?
So apparently smelling like syrup is a
form of diabetes.
A symptom of diabetes.
I'm sorry.
And then they have the DA files just spread on the table. He sees a picture of Diego, and he has like something on his
like
neck,
a crease. Yeah,
that is another symptom of diabetes. So they're like, okay, let's go check out Diego again. Dunn was not happy. He was like,
"How did you get to him?
How did you link it to Diego?"
Uh-huh.
That's when
clue number 2. Okay, I get where you're going. I get it.
Then they go and track him down. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't like that he doesn't invite Morgan to go with them, because I think
he's like, no guns,
no, only guns
and badges only. Yeah.
Why doesn't he want him there? because he keeps poking holes in his little cover-up.
Smart. I just thought he was trying to protect him, but okay. I'm naive.
And then they're at this like warehouse, and Hanson gets shot, and then Diego is shot, and I turn to you and I go, done, shot them.
Yeah, because first of all, when you're going after a suspect, you don't shoot to kill.
Right.
You shoot to kind of get him to stop running, and then you go in and question him. But
shot in the heart.
Yeah, he shoots him in the heart. Right through the heart. Like, he was shooting to kill. Like, he was on a mission.
So, Dunn is still not looking good in our book.
Nope.
Then they're at the morgue and they're like doing the autopsy on Diego, and they find that he swallowed diamonds.
And okay, question: if you know that somebody was shot, do you still do an autopsy on them? I mean, don't you know that they died from a gunshot?
I think you still do.
You still do
when it's a part of like such a murder case.
That's
maybe if it's I mean, if you're shot, it's probably not. It's probably foul play. So yes, probably always. But I'm not sure.
And he's like cut way open. So yeah, they look into his stomach,
graphic.
And they find a condom stuffed with diamonds swallowed, which would be awfully hard to do. I'd imagine.
And then they take it to Abe, because Abe is the expert of all things.
Yes, the diamond expert.
And he says that he goes, meh.
Yeah, meh.
Meh.
Inclusions and...
Why would you risk getting caught robbing a jewelry store if the diamonds weren't really worth anything?
Right. They were like crappy diamonds.
And then he goes back to the horse, but he just can't let the horse go.
Yeah.
They go to the hospital to see Hanson because he had to have surgery.
Surgery or something. Stitched up or whatever it was.
It went through and through, but he was in a lot of pain.
Right.
They think they've kind of solved the case because it's like Diego did it, but he's dead, so he can't talk.
Yeah. And Henry's not letting it go. And he brings up something in the hospital room, and Hanson makes up some sort of comment. So, like, my pain medication's wearing off. Please get the nurse. Joe goes away. And at this point, I thought that Hanson was going to say, like, Henry, like, Joe's door is red. Maybe he knew. I thought that was when that was going to come in, but it was, hey, lay off the case. This is really hurting her.
Again,
this is a really tough
the
case.
big brother like, relationship between him and Martinez.
And, like, the two of them together caring so much for Martinez is really cute. It was like, her...
It's her guys.
Bodyguards, yeah.
It's her guys.
So cute.
But so you know that he's not going to let it go.
Right. And he never lets anything go.
No. So the next scene of him and Lucas, like, back at the crime scene, and Lucas is like, just like the good old days. And he's like, umbrella. Wait, we never did this before, but I'm still having fun.
Yeah. Mano a mano is what he says, right?
Oh, my God. I love him.
So funny.
They're searching for the red, and then Lucas thinks it's, like, this red berry, and then Henry's like,
yeah,
it's
he's,
a red door.
Standing, like, at the door. The door is, like, behind him.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. They go, knock.
Whose door is it?
Who's there? Joe
Martinez. And obviously he can't lie to her. So he's like, yeah, we're still looking into this case. Sorry. Because she's kind of trying to put it behind her. In her mind, Diego did it. It's done.
Yeah.
We see another flashback here, and he's talking to the priest. And the priest believes him. He tells him his curse, and... It's like, I think it shocked him that, like, okay, someone will believe me because the wife didn't believe him.
Exactly. And this is kind of how it tied into Sean believing in Aaron when no one else would,
Oh, that's true.
Isn't that what the wife said? Like,
yeah.
Sean was the only one that was really behind him, and he believed in him when no one else would. So it kind of tied into the flashback of...
Yeah, definitely.
That.
And then it goes to... Joe and Henry getting drinks because I think she's still like obviously torn up about her husband, but then the case isn't over, and so she's still having to deal with
still there.
This.
And he even says, like, Joe, one day you have to deal with Sean's death. And she's like, I know, but just not tonight.
Mm-hmm. It was cute.
It was
another moment between them.
Moments.
They're back to
they drink it up, right?
I love Abe standing over her with like a hangover remedy.
Yeah,
she's
he's like, this is a patented remedy. Like, it has helped.
God, I love Abe.
Yeah.
And then he goes into the horse thing, and Henry's like, yeah, we gotta go.
That desperation right there was classic.
Yeah, we got to go.
Find it, please.
I need the horse.
I need my horse back.
But obviously, Abe is dropping bombs because he basically gives them the next break in the case because he's like, the horse, they go into the insurance for the horse, and he's like, it's probably more valuable stolen than here.
Right.
And they're like, whoa, what about that concept?
You always see those light bulbs going off, especially Henry. He
the diamonds were really bad diamonds, so they're probably more valuable to the jewelry store owner under the insurance policy rather than selling them outright. So they're playing with that concept. Hanson comes to the precinct. He's shot, so he's not going out on any missions.
And he's like, if I was 1 inch to the left, this would have been I would have been the client and not standing here right now.
And in the meantime, Joe and Dunn they're going to get the jewelry store owner, right?
Yes, Phil Fleshman.
Yeah.
Fleshman.
And that's when they kind of recreate the scene where Hanson was shot. And
Lucas rips off that band. He's like, sorry, I'm not used to dealing with living people.
With humans. With living humans. Yeah. But they kind of realized that he couldn't have been shot by Diego because of the trajectory of the bullet.
Right, the angle that it went in, because he was behind him.
Whatever. Dunn shot him.
Yeah.
Because I was right all along.
You were right.
Dunn's a bad dude. So they figure out, Joe's in the car with Dunn,
going.
What's happening?
Yeah.
There's another flashback real quick before we get to the end of the episode of the priest's plan of, why don't you just, he got in the asylum at the first place, I was like, why doesn't he just kill himself?
That's exactly what we've been saying.
Yeah.
If I had this curse, I'd be killing myself all the time just to get out of situations.
Right.
Like a
embarrassing
bad date.
moment. Kill yourself and then you just wake up in some body of water.
Yes.
But maybe because he had someone believe him, he was more willing to do it. I don't know. It was so early on in the curse. Maybe he wasn't sure how it worked.
Yeah, that's true. I would have been a little scared. What if it was a one-time thing?
Yeah, you never know. But alas, he hangs himself.
Yeah.
And
I like how we actually didn't see it. We saw the shadow of him disappearing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
So and the priest says if this works or when this works, go somewhere far away and start over. And so that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
And I hope they pick up on that on a future flashback of
does he ever get the priest out?
That's what I mean. Does that come back?
Yeah.
Does he leave him? I don't know. We'll see.
Writers.
But we're in the car
chase.
Well, Dunn's in the car and he kind of says something about Washington Heights.
Yeah. Because he wasn't supposed to know that Joe lived there because he was a DA
agent doesn't have his address listed because he deals with so many criminals. So she picks up on some things and then he realizes that she picked up on some things.
Yeah, he knows he slipped.
And he basically pulls out his gun and he's like, well, this is going to have to happen because
And it's so suave the way she takes out her little Bluetooth.
How did she do that?
Yeah. I don't know if I could be that smooth.
I could not be
I'd
that
probably
smooth.
drop it.
I'd be shaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, she secretly calls Henry and she's not talking to Henry, but talking to Henry through her talking to Dunn. What's that address again? So now they know where she is. But you don't really what's Dunn's plan? What do you think he was going to do?
Martinez, but hello, everybody would know.
He's not going to kill a cop.
You don't think so? Why was the gun drawn at her?
I think. Well, he never planned on doing he made he messed up by saying that. If he didn't say that, I think they would have driven to the jewelry store's place and maybe she got shot in the line of duty or something.
Oh, that little sneak.
Dunn is not a good guy. But she knows, and then Henry comes up with this crazy idea because police are 10 minutes away. They need to get to her right away.
Yeah,
you won't die if you crash into a barricade.
A barricade of water, right in the middle. Make sure it's
it's 60 miles an hour and right in the middle. And Hanson is you could tell he's just worried.
He's like, please tell me you know what you're doing. Don't. I mean, you're telling this girl to crash a car into a barricade.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
A little scary.
Yeah.
It works out. She's safe.
Has a couple bruises.
Little bruise on the head. But yeah, he's not okay. He apparently has broken bones.
Yeah.
But they catch the real guy behind it.
Wait, so we know that Dunn is okay? He didn't die?
He didn't die. He was in medical holding.
Okay, because she, took his seatbelt off. So I thought maybe, he'd get shot out of the
Well, he
window
definitely got
something.
hurt more than she did.
Good.
But kind of to wrap up why he was involved, apparently Dunn caught the jewelry store owner in an insurance scam. But instead of arresting him...
They recreated it.
And cut him into the profit.
Right. So
then hired Diego to pretend he was Aaron to steal the diamonds. But then Aaron found out because the police were looking for Aaron.
Smelled the blue.
Aaron went to confront them, and he found out Dunn was a cop, so Dunn had to kill Aaron.
Gotcha.
It's the very tangled web.
Janet, the writing was awesome in this one. It was really great.
Very good. Then there's another cute moment between Hanson and Martinez when he kind of invites her to dinner.
Yeah.
And obviously she's like, I need to go home.
Like, Karen would love to see you, his wife.
Yeah.
And the boys. But she goes home. She wants to have alone time.
She needs to face it. And I was like, she's going to watch more movies.
And this, I was in tears watching him say bye over the video over and over again.
But I think it was her saying bye too.
Closure?
It was closure.
Oh,
because,
gosh.
Maybe we'll find out in a future episode, and I'm getting into predictions way too early, but we know he died from a heart attack, but I wonder if it was something more.
Well, we know that the last time that they talked, it was an argument. They went to bed angry. They never got to say goodbye. Yeah. So maybe it's her saying,
I'm sorry. I loved you.
Yeah.
I love you. Bye.
And Henry's like, no, you guys were in love. He knew that you loved him. It was just a normal fight that married couples have.
And comforts her, like always.
But, that is my biggest fear is to, not see somebody or be in bad terms with someone.
That's why you should never go to bed angry with anyone.
Just always be in peace.
Yeah. But it was a good episode. It was a fantastic. It was very multifaceted because you had the crime, but the Hanson, I loved the Hanson part. Obviously, Joe's husband's part.
You had Abe in there.
Abe, it was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of points touched in this one.
I love it.
Loved it.
Loved it. Well, guys, don't forget to check us out on iTunes. Yes. We want 5 stars, as always. 5, 5, 5. But AfterBuzz has so many after shows you can check out. I think they do like 90 shows a week. So there's tons of stuff you can listen to and watch. And then, of course, you can check us out on YouTube. We check those comments every week.
Yes, we do.
Let us know what you
them.
think. Suggestions, if we messed anything up, if we left anything out. Of course, any songs for our after show. We always need songs with Forever in them.
Yes, we're running out.
But yes, let us know. We love hearing from you. And I think it's time to do predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, man.
Steve and Julie leaving these up for a long time. What do you think?
Okay, so next week we see Adam. Or sorry, not next week.
February 3rd.
So we have a couple weeks off, guys. But so we see Adam come back. He wants something to do with Abe, and I'm not having
concerned.
that. I'm really, I'm scared. Something with them. I really don't know. There's so much that can happen.
Yeah.
But maybe Henry turning really protective of Abe and just doing something crazy. Like whatever it takes to keep Abe safe.
Well, and I think that will tie into the flashbacks because we see that they run into like some Nazi art and maybe Nazi dealers, and we are like history repeating itself because they found Abe in a concentration camp during World War II when they were working. So I think it's kind of weave back and forth between like present day dealing with the Nazis and past dealing with
maybe Adam is the killer in the next episode. Like he frames. I don't know.
But I think it's going to be good because I think Abe will play a big part in kind of the flashbacks.
I'm excited to see Adam again, as creepy as he is.
Well, and he was very like vulnerable in the promo. He was just like sitting on a bench. Like every other time that we've seen Adam, he's either like attacking someone or he's like in a passing taxi or behind a glass door.
Yeah, he's always like one step ahead.
Yeah. And so like he doesn't have a clear exit. He's just like sitting on a bench in the middle of a park.
But he also can't die, so it's like, what's gonna happen?
That's the thing. He thinks he's untouchable.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a problem, but I think it's a problem.
I want Abe to hurt him.
Maybe.
I want him to like just tie him down and like torture him. Like
Janet says that we're not going to know. Like we were not going to expect the twist.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Where can our lovely viewers find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Pegah Rad.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kate Aquillano. We keep it simple.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Names
just
as
our names.
As our Twitter handles. Thanks, guys, for watching. 2 weeks off?
Yep. February 3rd, we'll be back.
February 3rd, we will be back. Same time, same place. We're looking forward to it. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.